dog shit elo, I like start always pressuring towards like H7, and like it's almost always like I can just get a checkmate on H7, but I know it's like not legitimately good.
Well, if it works in elo, that means you're doing something right.
Yeah, I guess.
Because okay, so like you can play really aggressively in this opening, but what we have to do is on instead of playing castle on move 8, you have to play knight e5 because that bishop's kind of important. Also, you get your knight onto a really good square on e5.
Okay. So here would I just play knight to D2?
Yeah, here you should just play whatever feels natural because that ship's already sailed. So you just wanna do whatever works here.
Oh wait, did I actually have? I just had a free pawn there, right? I had a free pawn on.
Yeah, you kind of did, actually. Wait, I didn't even notice that. That's a good point. Dude, what am I doing?
Wait, what?
wait, I suck at chess. I didn't even notice
Wait,
you
you
could have
castled and you blundered your pawn and you
Hey, look, you didn't see it, okay? Because you're, like you say, you're dog shit, Elo.
No, I suck. I just felt bad. I was literally like, okay, I can't embarrass her in front of like all these people.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Sorry, I had a really rough day, so.
Yeah. Wait, what happened? I heard about this from my chat.
Oh my
They
god.
said be nice to you today, and I'm like, wait, I'm never nice to you. Like, why would I?
No,
change
it's
it up
okay.
today?
You can flame me all you want. It's fine. It's fine.
Is it worth? So like, what should I do with my bishop in this situation? I would normally just retreat it.
Yeah,
Here?
yeah. You should definitely retreat it. That's not a. I mean, your position is honestly pretty amazing here.
It's amazing. What? Why?
You'll be able to push. Well, I mean, you're able to push e4 right now. Because that's something that like when you have this kind of hat structure, you usually want to get this e4 pawn push because you get more space.
Yeah, and then I have what 3 things defending it, and you only have 2 things attacking. Or I have
Yeah, basically.
So is it better to take here? I'm gonna take with the this, I guess.
Yep, that's okay.
Would it be good to? So what I would normally do here, I don't know if it's good, would be move my rook from the A file to the E file.
Yeah, that's a good move. I mean, like, honestly, I have no threats whatsoever in this position. Do you know how to play endgames?
Nope. I think we went over like the little bit of. I learned some from Alexandra, where she like taught me like how to like checkmate with like a rook and a king. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So before you even get there, you'll have to play through like this entire endgame part. Which I mean, at some point you'll probably exchange off the queens.
So how good would be putting like knight to G5? That's probably what I would have done here.
Okay, knight to G5 is a really good move because you're threatening H7. You asked me what I'm gonna do about it. Actually, no, don't play it because knight to G5 you lose your knight. What am I saying? I have not played chess today.
Okay, so how do I end up losing my knight? Oh, because you just take it with the queen.
Yeah, I just take with the queen. I just noticed.
Never mind. I mean, I guess I'll just trade off then.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, I like the way you put your rook onto e5. So the basic idea of playing in the endgame is you want to create a passed pawn. You want to pass pawn.
I don't even know it. Okay, so yeah, explain what a pass pawn is because I see that when I do puzzles, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, a pass pawn is a pawn that has no pawns in front of it or to the sides of it. So basically, it can just push its way up to the bottom of the board and promote. So it scales really, really well, right? Pawns scale well. And a pass pawn is especially one that it has like the potential to become a queen just by pushing it all the way down.
Yeah, like so I'm like completely lost when it gets to this point in the game. I
Okay.
actually like don't see any openings. Like I don't really know.
All right. So this part of the game, it's kind of difficult to play. It's definitely like one of the things you learn last as a beginner. But the main idea is, once again, like I said, you want to create that pass pawn. Another really important idea is that you want to make all of your pieces really active in the end game.
Including my king, right?
Yeah, including your king. So once the queens get off the board and there's like sufficient amount of pieces off the board, your king, it becomes safer for your king to just move around.
Okay. So could I play b3 here, or would that be inting?
B3 is, give me a second. B3 is acceptable, but you might want to prepare B3 first, because after you play B3, what can I capture?
So if I capture b3, you can then take knight to c3.
Right. And you lose a pawn.
Okay, so I'd rather put my rook on the c file?
Yeah, you can put your rook on the c file, and then you can start preparing to play b3.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was a really, really good observation, actually, in the end game. If you, like, when you get into these kind of positions, you're trying to create that pass pawn. So the way you go about it, especially if the material is even, is that you look on the side of the board in which you have more pawns.
Okay.
So right now you have more pawns on the
'Cause I have 4 to 3.
yeah, queen side, right? So that's pretty much where you want to play. However, it's not that easy, because when I play rook c8, you have to reconsider again. Do you want to play b3?
Yeah, now I don't, because then you have 2 things attacking. So So I don't know. I was thinking about like dropping my, I don't know, my like rook down a bit so I could make my knight more active, but I don't know if that's bad.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Like rook e2, I'm assuming, or something like that.
I was thinking e4. Is that bad?
Rook e4 is good too. It's just rook e4, I guess it still might be attacked.
Oh, because then you could push your pawn to
f5, but that's only if you get your knight onto e5. It's just that I mean, at this point, I think it's a very, very small, minor detail, but usually I just feel safer putting my rook on somewhere a little bit further away.
All right.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is sort of similar to what you're gonna do, because my idea in this position is also I want to create a pass pawn, right? That's everybody's idea in endgame, because when you're in the same amount of material endgame, your choices are to accept the draw, which might happen because there's very small winning chances
because we're
for
just
people.
like equal in skill.
Yeah, exactly. Or like what I'm going to do is try to push for a win.
Okay. So I kind of just want to make like a stalling move. So how would it be to do like pawn to a3?
Pawn to a3 is totally fine. So pawn to a3 actually has a really good idea, because you're stopping me from playing b4. And the thing about endgames becomes a lot of like pawn pushes and stuff. So my idea with b4 was to actually start on your c pawn, take on your c pawn, then put my rook onto the open file that the b file would open up, right? If the pawns get traded. So now when you play a3, I can still play b4, but after b4, a takes b4, a takes b4, c takes b4, knight takes b4, my c pawn becomes a little bit weak, right? Because you already have a rook on the c file and you're kind of hitting it.
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. I think I understand.
Yeah, and then you would be able to like immediately play knight d2 or something and attack my c pawn.
Yep.
So something I'm gonna do now is play rook b8 and then prepare this b4 pawn push, because at the end I want to be able to take with the rook onto b4.
So how would it be to like move? So what I would naturally do here, which is probably wrong, was I would be just thinking about just trying to move my other rook over so that I could play the rook that's on the, I don't even know what it's called, like the 1 row.
Wait, you mean?
Yeah, like so I'd want to move the rook over eventually. So I would, so my move right now would probably be like rook from e2 to c2.
Oh, okay. Rook e2 to c2. Yeah, that would be a good move because that basically ensures I can never play b4, right? Because no matter how I play b4, you're going to be able to capture back with the c pawn and then take on c4.
What about another idea? What if I move my knight to e5?
Knight to e5 is also a really good idea because the same idea I won't be able to play before. So that's a really good move. And you're also threatening to play knight d6.
The fork?
Yeah, the fork.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
So I'm going to play rook to c8.
I kind of just want to do like a stalling move now. Like I don't know what I should be doing.
Yeah, that's good. I think maybe something that could have been really interesting for you was to play knight d7 and put your knight on c5 too.
Knight d7?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then knight to c5 because then you will never get kicked out of there. So what I'm going to do now is actually just not let you play knight d7, knight c5. So like squares like c5 are considered an what's a square? It's called an outpost. Like it's a square that I can never kick your knight away from. So those are really good places for your knights because, well, it's kind of like my knight on d5, right? Like you'll never be able to hit my knight on d5.
Alright.
Alright, wait, what's your idea with that move?
I'm just trying to like potentially strengthen the b file. Like, cause I essentially just like want to be able to defend if you start pushing your b4. Well, so I guess that was what was going through my mind.
Okay, so that would be a good idea, except for the fact that I think I get to do the stuff on the b file before you do.
Okay. So what do you think about playing c9 here?
c9.
Good? No?
Yes, do it.
Okay, alright. Where do I still have from chat. So where do we go from here? Like, I just have to move. I just have to retreat my knight, I guess.
Yeah, you have to retreat your knight. You really only have one square. Also, congratulations on joining Cloud9.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, they should make a special square just for that on the chessboard.
Should I take with the? I was gonna take with the a pawn.
Yes, you can do that. Okay. So for whichever pawn you take with, you gotta decide: are you going to end up taking twice, or are you gonna just take with one of them?
Yeah. So then would it just be? I'm just screwed here either way, right? Because you're just gonna be up a move. I feel like.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm up a move. Also, just my position is kind of like more active than yours because I got the first push. So you are kind of like defending against everything I'm doing. So I think with best play, this is actually supposed to be a equal position. The only issue is right now you gotta decide, like, do you want to take twice? Do you want to take once? So you gotta think about those possibilities. So okay, you take it with the a pawn. I think I would say you probably have to take twice in this case because otherwise I get the b3 pawn pushed in, and then my rook is gonna be really strong, and you'll forever have like a weak pawn on b2.
So I was thinking about knight to d2 here.
Okay.
But because then, so my logic would be like, then, so I think I'm gonna go knight to d2, and then I think you're gonna push your pawn.
To c3, maybe.
To c3, and then if I take with my b2 pawn, then my rook is defended by my knight.
Yes, that's a very, very good observation, actually.
so that's fine. Knight to d4 or knight to d2.
Yeah, 92. That's actually a really, really strong move. You're not only stopping me from playing c3.
Yeah, I'm threatening the pawn.
Yeah.
And I'm protecting the rook.
Yeah, exactly. So this is actually a very, very equal position. Honestly, I don't even think I have a good move here.
Okay, so I've just won PogChamps.
Yeah, you just won PogChamps. Exactly. You just yeah. But I mean, you're playing this endgame pretty much the way you should be. Like if it's a complete, of course you'll get like better endgames where you should be pushing for the win. But this is one of those endgames where it's like when you win in, it's like you had. Well, I mean, you didn't have any, you weren't down any material, right? And that's your goal, I guess, for when you play in PogChamps, to be not down material. It's going to be more difficult than just saying that, but it's definitely what you can go for.
Wait, is this bad? No, I think it's fine, right?
Yes, depending, actually, wait a minute.
Oh, actually, never mind. It's not as good as I thought. I'd say your rook was defended here as well.
Okay, not just my rook being defended, I can also play c3, which this is called a pass pawn. You can see how there's no pawn around it to stop it, so that's why this pawn is called a pass pawn. Your b pawn is actually also a pass pawn. But one of those pass pawns is better than the other one. And mine is better than yours because it's a lot closer to, you know, reaching the bottom rank and promoting to a queen.
What about this move?
Okay, that is actually a really good move. You're trying to cut off, you know, my pawn, but then you also have to consider the fact that your d pawn is hanging. I know my e pawn is also hanging, but I'm gonna say that your d pawn is more important than my e pawn because when I get to take on d4, it gives my rook a spot to go to d2, and d2 is like, so the way you promote a pawn, right, is to, first of all, you want your rook behind your own pawn. Like my rook on c8, it's behind my pawn because that gives it a lot of support. It's really hard to kick away my rook from c8.
Yeah.
And
so if I take e6, then you're gonna move your rook down, and then I kind of have to like move my rook down to match it, or?
Yeah, so this is the part where defending against my pass pawn gets really difficult. If you take my pawn on e6, I mean, this position is actually pretty much lost for you now in the span of 2 moves.
Okay, so this is what I would have done. I just want to see it. I want to see. So you're gonna move to d2, and then I'm gonna move to c2, right? Or actually, no, I would just take, right? I just take.
Okay, so taking, I'm gonna take back with the c pawn, and then I'm gonna threaten rook c1.
Rook.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what? You're gonna threaten rooks. Oh yeah, rook c1. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Okay.
Right. So this, you kind of get the idea of how a pass pawn, why a pass pawn is so important in the endgame, and why you should be the one.
So when I'm okay. So just for my note, so when I move my rook to c5, are you already like seeing the move of like, okay, well now I can, like, now I'm gonna be able to like, essentially like force you to sacrifice rooks and promote my pawn, or are you just playing at that point off like the general idea of like, well, I have a pass pawn, like.
Oh, you mean knight c5 or?
Okay, yeah. So when I put, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, knight on c5. Knight c5, okay, so there's 2 things going on there. After knight c5, first of all, I can see the tactic immediately. Like, I can see that because of rook d2, because of my pass pawn, I'm going to be able to do this, this, and this. But it's also, like, you should have this common idea that when your opponent has a pass pawn, you're, like, especially a pass pawn that's already on the 3rd rank, you're pretty much fucked. Unless you can go take it really soon, or you're able to put a knight in front of the pawn. So putting your rook in front of the pawn is not that great because rooks are really valuable pieces, right? So if my knight kicks your rook next move, like you could play rook c1 right now and defend your rook, but then I can take your rook and then play knight b4, which is going to kick your rook. And since the rook is worth so much, you got to move it.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm asking. So it's more important, like even if I can't see the tactic immediately, it's more important to just like understand the concepts of like trying to get a pass pawn and like how to utilize the pass pawn than actually like being able to see the tactic.
Yeah.
For somebody like me.
Yeah, I think so because endgame tactics is its own little set of everything. Like endgame tactics are just so difficult to see, because there's like they're different, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
So it's just better to understand that with a pass pawn you want to have, like if you're the one with the pass pawn, you want to be the one with the rook right behind the pawn, like what you have. But unfortunately for you, your pawn is only on the 3rd rank and not the 6th. If your pawn was on the 6th, it'd be really strong as well.
So my best move is rook c1, right?
Yes. Well, rook c1. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is going to be quite unfortunate. You're going
It's
to.
even worse.
I'm gonna be taking, and then I'm gonna play knight b4.
And then I'd have to move back, right?
Okay, so now this is actually not that bad for you. So when I play c2,
so I have to move my knight in, right?
Yeah. There we go. You are attacking my pawn, so when I move my knight away, you'll be able to take my pawn, right? So I can't kick your rook.
Yeah.
So when I go, so now I have to play something like rook c3. Actually, I don't even know if this move works. Wait, what the heck am I doing?
Wait, no, because then I can just still take the, because then the pawn is still
Yeah, the pawn is still attacked. Okay, so I just messed up right there, which is gonna happen because these endgames are difficult to play. But, oh wait, here, I'm gonna give you more time. I should have played, I think, rook to d8. That was the correct move because if you take on c2, alright, don't worry about your time, I'm gonna give you more.
Okay.
If I played rook to d8, then you would have pretty much been forced to take on c2. Otherwise, I get that rook d1 idea again, right? So you had to like put your knight onto b5 or something, and then I would have played rook d1. Or if you took on c2, I would have put my rook back to c8, and then that was a pin, and you would have lost your knight. We'll go over the ideas like after because it's a lot to keep in mind. But yeah, I fucked up a little bit. Luckily for me, I'm still in a position where I can play this move. And then I can come here. And this is the idea I had, except I could have just done it one move earlier.
Fuck. Wait. Wait, I'm actually so screwed now. God damn it, wait.
Yeah. Okay, so probably what you should do here is knight takes b4. So you never want to be down a whole piece, right?
Knight takes b4, but then I just lose my...
You lose your rook, but you have a knight for the rook instead of being down a whole knight. Yeah, but otherwise, you played this endgame super, super well.
Yeah, besides for just like, you know, blundering the whole game away.
No, you didn't blunder the whole game away. That did not happen. Endgames are difficult to play. If you make like, okay, so you won't be playing people as strong as I am. But in the endgames you do play, if you go for the pass pawn idea every single time, I guarantee you, you will win. You make a pass pawn, you go push that pawn.
So from here, do you automatically win?
It's supposed to be a win, but it's not that easy, honestly. I think you could probably draw this position. I'm really bad at these positions. Okay, as long as you don't blunder anything, it should be a draw. I think. Okay, maybe not if you play that.
Okay.
Okay, I told you to not blunder, and what's the first thing you did?
I honestly just didn't even know it was a blunder, though. Like, it didn't seem like a blunder at the time.
Alright, did you check which of your pieces you can take? I mean, I could take.
I didn't, yeah, no, I didn't, no.
Yeah.
I thought that, like, really that there was no bad move for me there.
Well, we discovered you can blunder. It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, I mean...
Yeah,
Okay,
now it's a little bit lost. But yeah, you just don't want to lose pawns, and you don't need me to tell you that. You know that. It's just, you know, it was unlucky. We'll just go with that. It was unfortunate.
No.
Jungle diff.
It's ruined.
You're doing better than TF though.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's not saying much.
I thought I would at least tell you that to give you a little bit boost of it.
Okay. I don't even know what to do.
All right, well.
Oh wait, I just trolled. Well,
yeah.
Like, okay, so from here, what would I even do? Like,
from here, you would just hope that just like move your net around, don't lose it, and try to fork your opponents.
I would just move my. So I put like my king to like. So if I was actually thinking and I hadn't like mentally given up, it'd be like king to g3 is what I would actually move.
Pretty much king to g3. You just hope that your opponent will like blunder his rook or blunder a fork or something, and you just play for that.
But that doesn't happen in like actual games, right?
It does. You'd be really surprised.
What?
Honestly, if you don't get checkmated, I would highly recommend you never resign your game.
Oh really?
Never resign your game.
Like the second I blunder.
No,
piece.
no, stop resign. Stop doing that. It's NA. You gotta remember it's NA.
If I blunder like a free knight or a free rook or a free bishop or anything, I literally insta FF.
No, like, why are you FFing? Remember which region we play in.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But no, the thing is, a lot of times I'm from like I'm playing versus people from EU, so I know it's over anyway.
But in the PogChamp, you should practice for PogChamp. PogChamp is mostly NA people.
Oh yeah, I was gonna just resign in PogChamps. Like, if I blunder a piece, it's doomed.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not doomed. That's the thing. You gotta keep playing.
Okay.
You gotta keep playing. Your opponent will blunder mostly more than you. Just try to not lose any more pieces. I know, like, when the game starts going bad, everybody starts throwing. But you gotta remember that, you know, you can't do that. You got strong mental, don't FF, and just keep playing the game.
Alright, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Don't FF15. Like, honestly, people are going to throw back right at you.
But I mean, I'm playing against like really good players, right? Like I'm playing like against XQC. Like he's been getting coached by Hikaru for months now, right? So how could I ever win?
Yeah. No, I think you're fine.
Okay, all right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, no, you just never resign. Honestly, just keep playing for a win. Just if you start losing material, don't lose more material. XQC is not doing too great at chess.
Yeah, but I mean, he's literally like, the thing that you guys don't understand about XQC is he's the biggest streamer on the platform, right? Like every time you watch him playing, he's literally just throwing for content to build up the story of him being really bad at chess, and then he's gonna have this heroic run where he just shits on everyone 2-0 with like double their clock in these PogChamps, and then he's gonna win the whole tournament. He's gonna be the hero of the world. He's gonna get so many LSF clips.
Okay. Well, I think that he ain't got enough in him for that, so I think you're fine. Honestly, I think you have a good chance of being in the winner's bracket.
Being in the winner's bracket, what does that mean? Top 8?
It's so in your group. I don't remember who's in your group off the top of my head.
Wait, I have a group already? Wait, what?
Wait,
no
what?
one told me?
Wait, what?
I didn't know. I didn't know I've been in a group.
Oh, you got a place in a group.
Who's in my group? What the hell? I gotta start like. The thing is, I don't even need to start practicing. I just have to go to their chest and like harass them permanently.
Here, you can find out about your own competition, right? I only found out today. So you are going to be in a group with wait a second. I see this.
Seating in groups.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you're in group B with Forsen, Dog,
okay.
and David Pacman. Oh wait, you actually got a.
Wait, that's actually that's such a hard group.
That is actually a super hard group. I thought you actually.
What? Like I'm so. Okay. Well, I'm just so fucked.
No. You just gotta beat them.
Yeah, but Dog's like a 5. Like he plays like these types of games for a living. He plays like it's so over.
Okay, but you play League for a living.
Yeah, one requires fingers, the other requires brain.
That's
Wait,
true.
who is David Pacman? Like I don't even know who this guy is, but he looks kind of smart.
Oh, David Pacman
he
is
old. Is he older than me? He has age diff on me.
How old are you?
I'm 30 next week.
Wait, what?
What does that mean? Wait, why'd you react like that? What the
Wait,
fuck?
Guess my age.
I know you're
oh.
like 20. Wait, are you 20 or are you 21?
I'm 20.
Okay.
Okay, well, David Pacman's actually older than you. He's 36, so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. See, versus players like that, I can win because the whole thing is like I can just drag out to the game, and if we just start going on the clock, like he'll die before me for sure. So
Oh
we
God.
just gotta like extend the game versus David Pac-Man more fun.
Okay. I trust in you. You can beat him. You can beat him. Yeah, I do think that you have good chances. You just have to be more confident. Don't resign your games. Just don't.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Just bring it into the tactics, bring it down to the mechanics, and you'll be able to, yeah. 2 boomers play. Wow, would you look at that?
What do you mean? I am not a Wait, is I think Forston's older than me. Is he not?
I don't know. Forsen is 29, so he's actually younger than you.
Well, I'm 29 too. Maybe his birthday's in like 3 days.
Oh, his birthday is December 16th.
Who's the other person? Oh, Doug.
Alright, we're just looking at people's ages now. Wait, you don't even have a Wikipedia page.
Okay, so I'm not famous. Like, what do you want from me? I have a Leadpedia page, alright?
I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking, I can't even harass Forsen in his chat because he doesn't even read it, so it's gonna be hard. Okay, we'll see.
Oh man, can't beat people by harassing them. That's unfortunate. Alright,
So
well,
what's the plan from here?
The plan is that you improve your gameplay. Let's take a look at the games you played over the last week.
I played only like 3-minute games though. Like I didn't play like that many because I was like in queue and stuff.
Oh, that's okay. Chester and Q is a classic.
Yeah, so like some of the games I like kind of trolled, or like I wasn't like focused. I haven't like actually got to sit down. Well, I've had opportunities to. I've literally just been lazy. For some reason, it's like been hard for me to play chat. Like when I first started playing, I was so like into it, but then like now I just get bored sometimes when I'm playing.
That's okay. It's fine. I mean, I was trying to go. What the?
Oh wait, I trolled here. So I shouldn't have taken there. I should have moved my queen back.
Yes, you definitely should. Or you can just exchange queens here.
Okay. Oh wait, exchanging queens is way better, right? Because then then he has like a pawn in the middle of nowhere, kind of.
Yeah. This end game is better for you, basically. Okay, so to explain this once again, right? Usually, like an end game is when there are queens off the board. I say that for simplicity. People are going to argue with me because not every single queenless position is an end game, but for simplicity. So in this position, this is better for you. Well, it's not really better for you, but it's easier for you to play because you have this very simple idea of moving your knight out and then taking that pawn. And then your opponent will go for this pawn, obviously. But it should come down to a pretty even position. And
so if I like let's say I put knight to d2, right? And then he's gonna move rook to d5, right?
Yeah, he will.
And then but I take first.
Okay, but so this is an issue because if you take first, he's actually gonna take here and then pin your knight to this pawn. So he's gonna win one more pawn. So you can do it, but you don't necessarily need to go take that pawn, right? Like this pawn will be taken at some point. It's on a light square. He has no pawns around it, and his bishop is on a dark square. So
so you're already looking at like the that matters for this pawn here.
That matters. In the endgame, it matters a lot what color square bishop you have. Do you have a knight? Do you have a bishop? Does your opponent have a bishop? Does your opponent have a knight? Those kind of things matter a lot. Because if all of your pawns are on the dark square, that means... your opponent has a dark square bishop. If all your pawns are on the dark square, that's not too great for you usually. Because that means his bishop can come snap up all your pawns, especially if you don't have a bishop.
Okay.
But if you also have a dark sword bishop, then it becomes more okay. But you still don't want pawns on the same color as your bishop. So there's a lot of endgame things.
So I would probably just go knight c4 then.
Okay, so the problem with knight c4, it's not a bad move really. But he can probably play something like rook c5, and then you just have to move it again.
I couldn't just defend it with the pawn.
If you defend it with the pawn, he's gonna play b5 because now this is pinned. Like your knight here is pinned because now when the knight moves away, he can take on c3.
But then I can take his pawn.
Right, but then he can take your pawn.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
It's NA.
Yeah, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a David Pac-Man diff.
Yeah, so what you need to do in each of these positions is just think about what your opponent can threaten on each move. And where you'll be able to capture. So in this position, when your opponent's just attacking your pawn, and okay, it's gonna be really difficult for you to see that if knight c4, my opponent's gonna play c5, and if I play b3, like that's almost impossible to think about. So if it happens, it happens, and if he actually plays b5, then you know, but it's like at this point you gotta realize that if you take on e4. Even this position is not bad for you, but you gotta defend your e3 pawn first. Like, nothing is going to go defend this e4 pawn right now. The only piece he could have used at the start was the rook anyways. His bishop is still on, like, not even gonna be able to move out. He can't defend this pawn literally. His only tries to play rook c2 to pin this.
And then I would just play... Oh, wait, but if can I play this then?
Yeah, you can just play that. You can swap off the rook, right? And then you're chilling, you can go take that pawn next move. So...
Okay. So from here, how would we play? Because I'm down a pawn, right? But I feel like I'm not in a bad position.
You're not in a bad position at all. Honestly, once you get this pawn, you're not down a pawn anymore.
So what I would do next is probably like this. Oh, is it my turn? Oh, it's your turn.
It's Black's turn.
Okay.
Yeah, so Black will probably try to develop his bishop.
I would go here.
Okay, that's good. That's perfect. You're defending your pawn, and you're also protecting the pawn on b5. So this is like how you should play endgames. Like, your opponent can have a weak pawn, but you don't have to rush super hard into going to take it.
Okay, so he would probably he'd...
I don't know. He would probably just play a6 or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And just try to defend this pawn. So what you can do is, for example, now once again, you're just, so in the endgame, your main two goals are to create a pass pawn. Win your opponent's pawns if you can. Have your king kind of activated so it can, like, you know, defend your own pawns and stuff. So you've already checked off one of those things. Your king's already in the center of the board. That's really good.
Why is that good that my king's in the center of the board here?
Because it's basically the king becomes a necessary piece in the end game.
Okay, so you want your king out of the center of the board in the like early part of the game.
Yeah, in the middle game, in the opening, you definitely want it out. But once the queens and like more pieces come off, you can kind of feel this. Like, it's not like a specific thing. It's kind of more like you can feel when the king is okay to come out. Like in this position, does your opponent ever have any chances to come like checkmate you?
No, not really. Like, it'd be really hard.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever your opponent does not have like checks on your king, usually this happens only when there are less pieces on the board. So when your king, so in those kind of situations, it starts becoming okay for your king to come out in the center of the board. And it's important for your king to come out in the center of the board because it's pretty much just another piece. It's just another piece you can use to go capture your opponent's pawns. It's another piece you can use to defend. Like, your king was doing a good job of defending the pawn on e3.
Okay. So here, like, is it worth for me to like make a stalling move, or do I want to like start trading off pawns? Because I could create a pass pawn by sacrificing the stacked pawn.
Sorry, by playing what?
So like, let's say I put rook to here.
Okay.
And I give the pawn.
Right, but what can he play?
This.
Yeah, but then I guess you can put your rook back. So actually, I was thinking he could play king b7. What would you do here?
FF15? I don't know.
No, no, you gotta stop FFing.
I would go here probably.
All right. Okay, rook e8. All right, perfect.
And then I would take again.
Okay, see? Now you won the pawn.
5 head.
5 head, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
you saw that idea. So like you attack your opponent's weak pawns in the endgame because yeah, like this is totally fine. What I was a little bit more concerned about is the fact that you don't actually get a pass pawn out of this position. And his bishop is now kind of active. Like his bishop was like, take a look at where his bishop could go before his bishop got onto e5.
Yeah, it's just like pretty much one square in front and one square behind. Like,
yeah, pretty much, right? So it's like getting that pawn is a trade-off with letting your opponent's bishop activate. So you don't actually even win a pawn here, which is the worst part about all of this, because so he actually has to go with king b8 to not let rook a8, which is would have been a skewer. And then when you try to go for this pawn, he'll play c6.
Okay.
So I would say that this letting his bishop activate is not worth it.
So what I was thinking I could do in this position, like, okay, so let's say this happened. Couldn't I just do this?
Yes, but what are you trying to play with knight c5?
I'm trying to play to fork the bishop and the king.
Okay.
The next move, so I guess he would just move his rook.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
never mind.
well, yeah, that works too. But I'll probably play bishop d6 just to get my bishop out of that situation. Ooh. Okay, so the funny part here is your rook's actually trapped.
What?
What?
Wait, why?
Try to save your rook.
Well, it's not being attacked right now, right?
Yeah, it's not being attacked right now.
Oh. Fuck. Okay, I see it now. I understand now. It's like my knight is trapped too. Oh wait, I'm just like in a horrible position or what?
Yes, you are. So that's the part about endgames. Like, you gotta have really active pieces. And if you get your pieces, like, stuck in a corner of the board or something, it can go downhill for you really, really fast.
I don't even know what to do. Okay, so it's ruined. Okay. So, that was not the move.
Thank you, Neuro Coffee Cup, for the gift sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so that's kind of a lesson into why you don't want to go for a pawn on the side to trade off a pawn in the center, because, like, not because it's easier to trap, but because your opponent got a really active bishop out of it. And you don't like that.
True.
So, like, it would have been fine if you got both of these pawns out of it, or if you actually got a pass pawn out of it. But you didn't get any of those, right? So the trade-off was just, like, it was not in your favor.
So here, what would be the best move then?
Okay, so in these kind of positions, think about what other pawns can you go try to take? Like, you had the right idea there with trying to take a pawn, but there's better ways to do it.
Let's take a pawn. Well, I mean, could I move my pawn up one so it's not trapped anymore?
You mean your e-pawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, e6 would be a really, really cool move, but once again, this just, like, gives your opponent the diagonal now, right? So it gives your opponent's bishop that extra space to go. So a really interesting move here is actually knight g5.
So then they would play. Yeah, I don't know. What would the person play? Would they move the rook preemptively?
They might, but what do you think knight g5 is threatening, though?
Well, it's threatening to move to f7 and pressure the rook, and then it's also threatening the pawn on h7.
Kind of, but there's another square I want this knight to go to.
Oh, the e6?
Yeah, I wanted to go to e6. Alright, so in these kind of positions, the trick to finding these kind of moves is, first of all, think about where you could attack your opponent. Like, for example, you correctly identify a6 as a weak pawn. So is e7. So e7 is also a weak pawn, right? But I also have this rook on the c7 pawn. So my knight on e4, while it's a good knight, doesn't actually do much.
Yeah.
So I can go knight g5, and then knight e6, because that will attack c7 and the bishop.
Okay.
So if your opponent plays basically anything in this position with the rook, it's like just over for him, because he can just play knight e6, and then you attack the bishop and the pawn, and then when you get the extra pawn,
and the rook too, right?
Yeah, and the rook too. So like, it's just like your opponent struggles with make a move. His only move here, which I would doubt anybody could find, honestly, is king d7, because this stops knight to e6, but it's also such an awkward looking move.
But then I could just check him with the pawn, no? Or that'd be bad.
check and move the pawn. Oh, like you mean rook d5?
Yeah. Or no. E6.
Oh,
Pawn.
okay. E6. He'll just move his king up. And like his king's in an awkward spot, but you don't have checkmate here, and you've actually like made his king more active than before.
So what I was thinking here is I would go probably like this then. And if he takes the pawn, then I can like have access.
Yeah, this would be okay, but there's also a certain element of pressure right now you're keeping up with having your pieces so high up, right? Like right now, where's this king gonna go?
It can go to it can just only move back.
Yeah, so this king isn't threatening anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't go anywhere. Do you want to help his king go anywhere?
I mean, probably not.
Exactly. So you don't want to move the pawn. Thank you so much, Mega Man. Welcome back to your 3rd month.
So what should I be doing then?
Okay, so this is once again a good time to evaluate which of your pieces aren't doing a whole lot of stuff. Which of your pieces not doing a whole lot of stuff?
My king, I guess. My pawns in like the G and the H file.
Okay, that's true. You're not wrong. But also, remember how important your king is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where could you put your king?
From here?
Thank you so much, Alex, for the huge raid. Welcome, everybody.
I can try to... I don't know. I actually have no idea where we're going from here.
I'm currently coaching Dom. Okay, so your king can't go towards the center. And then defend this pawn. Once you have this pawn defended, you can move your rook around.
Okay.
Welcome all bonus livers. Thank you so much, Alex, for the raid. That's absolutely crazy.
Like so many moves.
Thank you.
Head or something?
Yes. So the idea, it's not so much the series of moves, it's more of a plan in the end game. In the end game, we've kind of set up what you really want are to take your opponent's pieces, of course, your opponent's pawns, and to get your pieces active, and then to get your king into the center of the board.
I guess for me, like, where I lose that idea is, like, I feel like normally what happens is if I try to be like, okay, I'm gonna try to move my king to defend this pawn, and I'm, like, making one move here, it's like, because I have to do 2 moves, right, to defend the pawn. I feel like in those 2 moves, like, everything's gonna go to shit.
Okay, so in the end game, what could possibly even go to shit?
I have no idea. It just always seems to happen to me.
Unlucky.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's how it feels.
Big unlucky. I mean, you're totally fine in the end game. Usually, like, unless you're losing material, that's the only time when you can't really do it. So it's all about being able to judge, does my opponent have anything active he can do?
Not really, right?
So that gives you the time to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Alright, so you'd probably, like, move the rook somewhere here, I would assume?
I would still play king d3. I would just put my king onto e4, and then I can...
No, I'm saying for you.
Oh, for, like, black. Okay, sorry, give me a second. King d7, king d3. You can play, like, if you're gonna play something like rook f8, you can just play, like... I mean, here, the rook might actually come to f2. So a big part of the end game is just figuring out what your opponent wants to do, and then stopping him from doing it. So there's actually a few ideas here. One of the simpler ones would probably just to, you know, honestly, you can play king e4. If he plays rook f2, there's rook d5. But this is the part where it gets really complicated, and I don't know if you want to do this. The other easy part is, like, you can see your opponent wants to play rook f2. So you just gotta play knight f3. And then you stop whatever he wants to do. And this is really annoying for him, because he had an idea, you stopped his idea.
Okay. Alright, so from here, what would be the play?
So here, what you want to do is, okay, so black would try to, I mean, endgames are probably the hardest part to teach because you kind of don't have a very, very clear plan.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it would just be, like, looking for, like, angles, like, trying to open things up, or...
Yeah, you're trying to open things up, you're trying to capture your opponent's pawns, like what I did. Like, I honestly doubt anybody in PogChamps will be able to find king d7. Like, it's not an easy move to find. And even if they find it, it's like they'll blunder something at some point, and it's just so hard for you to blunder a piece in endgame. Honestly, it's really difficult. So you will be fine. You'll be fine in endgame.
So if he didn't, so let's say they didn't find the knight. What was the plan from there? I'm literally I actually forgot.
Wait, where?
So let's say they did another move from right here.
Oh, instead of king d7.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean he doesn't have a lot of moves to play, honestly. Let's just say he plays h6, push pawn. People like to push pawns.
Then would I move in the knight to e7? Is that good then?
E6, right?
Alright, I meant f7. But
oh, f7.
E6.
Okay, so f7 is not so good because all you're doing here is attacking his rook. His rook will move, and then your knight's kind of trapped.
Oh, and then I'm just fucked, huh?
Yeah. So you gotta think for more than that. You remember where we originally wanted to go with this knight? What was the weak pawn that he had?
He has 2 weak pawns, right? So he's one on e7, right?
Okay, he has a weak pawn on e7. He also has
a weak pawn on c5, kind of. Well, I mean, it's being defended, it's being defended by the king, right? But
oh, you mean c7?
Yeah, c7. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. So weak pawn on e7, c7, also a6. You said a6 earlier, but we agreed that a6 wouldn't really work because you can get the e5 pawn if you move your rook down. All right. So a6. We ignore that one now. Now we think about c7 and e7. So just based on the fact that
this would be great, right?
Yeah, that would be great because we're attacking both the bishop and the pawn on c7.
And then he doesn't have a good move, really, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He doesn't have a good move here.
So what would he move?
Well, I mean, if he moves anything like king d7, you can just win the knight on g7, pretty much.
Okay.
Or you can, bishop, yeah. And if he moves his bishop, or he defends his bishop, then you can just take the pawn on c7. And the end game is all about how many of your opponent's pawns can you go gobble up.
Oh, and then he has to move like c5, right? Or b8. I don't know why I said c5.
Yeah, he has to go b8, and then you can take one more pawn.
Okay. And then from here, I should just be able to win out almost.
Yeah.
It's been a wild past few months, and here's to many, many more.
Person could do at this point would be
Thank you so much, Sly. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the tier 3.
Or how would they play from? Or no, they would take the pawn, right?
Right. But this is the part where you already have a passed pawn. So what you want to do is now just to play moves like first of all, you just don't want to lose any pieces. You want to play h3, just defending this pawn. And then you use the fact that you have a passed pawn. You want to push this pawn as far as you can. So in this case, it won't be too far because he actually has a bishop on e5. But you really want to just support this pawn and let it push all the way to the bottom of the board. Support your cast in, let it get all his alts, and then he'll be able to queen.
Okay. So, one thing that I struggle with is, how much I should be pushing the pawn compared to how much I should be, trying to, keep him in check or, trying to, come up with ideas for other pieces.
So, pushing the pawn is usually, involves all of your pieces. If it doesn't, then your opponent's doing something really, really wrong. Then it's just a free pawn push for you. So the times when you don't want to push a passed pawn is obviously if it gets captured. You never want to do that. You want to push your pawn alongside, if his king starts coming towards the center of the board, that's when you can go take his pawn, right? So if he plays something like king to c8, that's when you can go rook a7 because then you can take this pawn. So in the end game, you always want to look at which of your opponent's pawns you can go capture. Pawns are weak pawns are considered a weakness in general, and you usually need 2 things that work in your advantage that would win you the game. So in this case, you have a passed pawn. This is really good for you, and the other thing you have is an extra pawn. So those 2 things combined should get you the win.
Okay. So, okay. Let's try. So from here, if I just want to try to play it out versus
Thank you so much, PogChamp, for the prime. Thank you. All right, let's try that. Okay, I'm gonna play black. You'll play white.
Okay, because I should just win for free.
You should, but it's honestly easier said than done.
I already like I don't know. It looked so much easier before.
You just have some faith in yourself, you know? You're being a, pro league player. This is easy for you. I'm coaching I Will Dominate. He's a huge league streamer.
So
League of Legends streamer. And also thank you everybody from Boda's Live for coming. I really appreciate it. Alex, thank you so much. It's been an intense day today. I hope everybody's having a good day. Huge shout out to Alex if you're not following her.
So is trading good for me since I'm up right now? So like, one thing I was considering was like trying to like trade my knight for the bishop.
Okay, so that's something you don't really want to do, because rook endgames are often just drawn, and that's just like a chess thing. Oftentimes. Thank you so much, Neuro Coffee Cup. Thank you. He is an ex-LCS player.
I'm like so. All right, let's see.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, the one thing you didn't do is deny me a square, because now my rook gets to be really active. All right, I'm gonna take here. Okay, let's see if you know how to win this. I believe in you. Alright. Don't worry, you'll at least get top 4 in your group.
That's really what you're gonna hit me with?
Yes.
So like your pawn is farther than my pawn.
Yes.
So I feel like I need to do something about that.
Oh, thank you so much, Nutsakai, for the 10 gift subs. You're absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Everybody make sure to thank him for their gift subs. Oh, man. Thank you. You're absolutely insane. If I move my rook to
anything, it would just be useless, pretty much.
Okay. I mean, that's not 100% true. So, the best way you can defend... Okay, so this part gets a little bit difficult, actually, because,
So I was gonna try putting you in check.
Alright, that's always a good idea, you know? Mepriol! Mepriol! Oh my god! Thank you so much, Mepriol, for 5,000 bits. You're completely insane. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Cats, 100 bits as well. So much love to you guys. Thank you so much, Nutzer. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone's enjoying the lesson.
This is just losing for me, right? Because I'm just like letting you move your king into like the center of the board.
Yeah, you're helping my king go defend.
Wait, so I just literally just helped you win. Okay, nice.
Yeah, you literally helped me. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, it's easier if you don't even give me that chance. I mean, it's hard to never give me the chance, but the way you gotta think about it is, wait a second. So my opponent just played rook c8. Does he have any checks? Does he have any captures next move? He has one.
Yeah, so he has checks. Yes.
Yeah, he has one check.
So, boom.
Yeah. So what can you play here? And thank you so much, Anonymous, for the gift sub. Right. Welcome, Coon Platoon. Thank you. That's a funny name. I like it.
D3?
Thank you. Yeah, king to d3. There we go. So you see your opponent wants to give you that check. And the reason your opponent wants to give you that check is because of what just happened, right? Like, I got that past one. When you are up a pawn, you don't want to give your opponent any opportunities.
Okay.
So you want to play like king d3 just to stop it from happening, basically.
Alright.
And the way this will work now is... I mean, what can I even play here? I'm going to play rook here.
Can you play rook to... Can you play... Well, like, you could play rook to c3, but that wouldn't be that good.
Yeah, rook to c3, I mean, it's just a check, and then you can just move your king.
Just move my king to attack the bishop.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I've actually helped your king move up even more.
Okay. So it's almost like checking him. So it's like, I guess the concept would be like checking them if you don't actually have a plan to like checkmate is kind of useless.
Yeah, so like there's no reason to actually check in chess unless first of all you're stopping your opponent from castling, you're gonna win material, or you're like threatening checkmate. Oh, thank you so much. In my own words, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You do this.
You didn't have to do it twice. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for your support today. I'm honestly feeling better. Dom is nice to talk to.
Still here?
Alright, that is good. You're getting the idea. You need your king to support you. And, I mean support your pawn. Alright. What you gonna do here?
So now would it be worth it to look for opportunities to attack your pawns on the G and the H file that are excuse me, that are like exposed?
Yeah, this will be a good time because none of you. I'm not threatening to capture any of your pawns, right? Thank you so much, Nicola, for another 1,000 bits. Honestly, you guys, like I promise you, I'm perfectly fine. Also, I should turn off the lines. I'm not even using the lines. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely just crazy. I could not ask for a better community. Okay, so he defended his pawn, which is good. Yeah,
why did you just right click? I didn't like that.
I'm just saying you defended your pass pawn. That was really good.
Okay, so I think I know what your next move is gonna be, right? Like you're gonna put bishop to c1.
Yes. There we go. You see my threats now.
So what I could do is I could put my rook. Wait, so would it be good to put my rook to the c file or no? Because it'd be defended.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that doesn't really do anything for me, right? So
right. So this is a new idea that I'm gonna teach you. That's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow your mind.
Okay, I'm ready.
Thank you so much for coming, Sly. Have a great night. Okay, so basically what you want to do here is actually play something. So you can swap off your pawn on e3. So if you take h6, right, and I play bishop c8, you can take on g6, and then I like get this one pawn, but you wait a minute. Actually, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Wait, give me a second. Bishop c1. Knight c5, take c3. Okay, so the way I would have gone about this is actually trying to keep both of these pawns, but instead that didn't really turn out. So maybe what you could do is play knight f4, and when bishop to c1 happens, then you can play knight to d5, and then just defend it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably it's always a safe way to play like this. So you know that there's no way I can defend my pawn at h6.
Well, you could like. Well, now you can't, yeah.
Well, if h5 you just take and you got another pawn, right? Now you have two passed pawns, and that's even harder for me to defend. But a lot of the endgame is just making sure you don't lose anything, and then just going for your opponent's pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's difficult, I know, but the three main ideas is you want to have your active pieces, you want to stop your opponent from taking your pawns, you want to take your opponent's weak pawns, and you want to have a pass pawn. The pass pawn is probably the key part because you can't win without the pass pawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You ready to go again?
Yeah.
Play somebody in the pool, actually. I think that would be a better.
Wait, to do what? Just play a game?
Yeah, play a game. Play against someone in the pool. I'll follow. I'll spectate.
Okay.
And we hope they play an end game.
Play 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Thank you so much, Bye for the tier 2. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. Thank you so much, Bye. Oh God, he's going for a gambit.
So like I never know like what to do in this situation. Like normally what I would do is I'd move my knight.
Okay. I was just about to say don't move your knight.
Oh, okay. Well, I already did. So now, so now he's just gonna move his pawn up one.
Yeah.
That's smart, right?
So you can just take, and then when the queen takes, you just play knight c6 because then that means you gotta develop with a tempo, right? So you basically gotta play knight c6, but he also has to move his queen back.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he didn't do it, so you can.
So now I just take.
Yeah, now you can just take.
Relax.
Alright, you guys are absolutely crazy.
What? I just take again. Right?
Yeah, he's going for a gambit. It's not that good for him. But it's like a known opening.
Wait, so I just go again? Like what?
Okay.
This can't be good.
So there is a trick here. If you go again, actually I don't even know what the trick is. I think you can just go again because his idea is to play something like Queen D5, which threatens checkmate, but you're actually threatening to promote into Queen. So I don't actually know.
Okay, so.
All right, he took with the bishop. All right, you gotta find a way to develop here, in a way that doesn't endanger your king.
Okay.
Ooh, that is not what I would have played.
Well, I didn't know what to do. Like, this is what always happens in my games. They're like so weird that it feels like it's almost like, yeah.
Have a great night, PV. Have a great night. Okay, don't worry. We'll go over what you should have done there. But right.
Okay, right. I literally just like I'm trying to just get my bishop and then castle. That's like what I guess I'm going for here.
Does that diagonal going from A1 to H8 not scare you at all?
Yeah, it does, but like I don't know.
Wait, but if it scares you.
Well, it's because like he blocked it with his knight now, right?
But what if he moves away his knight?
I don't know. Like I have no clue.
All right, well we're about to find out what happens when he moves away his knight.
Okay.
Well, it's okay. We're limit testing. We face. Yeah, there we go.
Okay,
Fuck.
So there you did it. All right.
If he blunders,
So I guess I just
made
move my
one.
rook in one, right? Like there's nothing else I can do.
He's gonna checkmate you.
He's gonna checkmate me here.
Yes. I mean, you're pretty lost anyways, but he's actually gonna checkmate you.
Okay.
Oh my god, why would you do that? I just told you he's gonna checkmate you.
Wait, he's gonna checkmate me on this next move?
Yes, I just said that. Oh, he didn't see it.
Wait, but how can he checkmate me there?
Knight to F6.
Knight to F6? Knight F6. Oh, and then I just can't take it at all.
Yes.
Oh, that's so crazy. That's such a weird checkmate. What?
God.
So now, knight to F6. So now I should move my rook, or I should move my bishop to. Wait, so I move my bishop to. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. This
Yeah.
is so weird.
Okay, just don't get checkmated. Find a way to not get checkmated. I'll be very, very happy.
Okay.
Okay, this is good.
This is so weird. Like I don't even know.
Oh my
fuck?
god, we'll never make it into the end game at this rate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because it's like when you do like chess lessons, pretty much what ends up happening is like I like have an idea of like what I would want to play or like what openings I want to play, but then everything is just completely random, and then it just feels like there's no things that like I got better at.
Okay, don't worry, you're gonna get better. We just have to go over we have to do a lot of VOD review for these kind of crazy, like when you're low elo, people don't do what people at high elo do, right? Like they just don't,
Yeah.
And then you gotta deal with that shit. So that's what we gotta deal with. Don't worry, we'll go over like how to play against these kind of like really dumb openings soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we just gotta review everything.
Just gotta think. Alright, I see some stuff. So I have a free pawn potentially on. Nah, I don't know. I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, so we'll go over how you should regularly be developing. So usually, like, now you see the reason why you don't want to put your knight in front of your bishop. Like, you should play bishop b4 check instead of playing knight to e7 because
I actually saw that, but I just did like I was like, okay, so then he's just gonna push his pawn to whatever to a3.
But you got a check there. Okay, anyways, we'll talk about it after the game. Here, let's let you focus on the position right now. You didn't get checkmated, so it's good. Dude, NA stresses me. Honestly, NA just stresses me. It doesn't even matter at this point what game it is, who's playing. NA just stresses the heck out of me.
So if I take, we'd both exchange, and then he develops, that'd be bad.
Yeah, you're no longer getting checkmated. Everything's going pretty well now.
No longer getting checkmated?
Yeah. Holy shit, that scared me. What did you think I meant when I said don't get checkmated? Okay, you got...
Well, I thought you were talking about, like, in 2 moves that he was going to try to attack the F7 pawn with his bishop, because his bishop was threatening the F7 pawn, and then he had a knight threatening the F7 pawn, too.
Alright, you're...
So now this is good for me.
You're winning in 10 different ways. Just don't play a move that loses.
Well, the thing that I'm worried about is if he removes the knight, do I get checkmated by, like, the bishop and the bishop and the queen that are going on the F7 pawn?
Very, very close, right? So you got one really good move here. That's going to both stop yourself from getting hit by that because you'll defend F7, and then you'll also hit his queen and his bishop.
Oh,
or yeah, you can play that. Yeah, so I mean, you could also just take the knight on d4, but that was like, I would be scared playing that too. So I think 95 is a solid.
I was scared that he was just gonna like somehow move the knight and then checkmate me with the.
Yeah, I mean, I would be scared of that too. Honestly, even at my level, I would be scared. So I think this is the better way. Like, this move works. It's a good move, but it's just like, oh.
Oh wait, no, I just take the queen.
Okay. Oh.
I mean, that's literally how like 90% of my matches go, actually. So it doesn't even feel like I like learn that much from the lessons, because it's like the people like just do random things, right? God. So it's literally just about like trying to find like which pieces they blundered.
Yes.
That's how it feels like I'm playing.
All right.
Instead of like actually learning.
All right, screw the end game. We're gonna go over tactics.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Well, at least now you know. So you'll go into end games in your group very specifically. You'll go into end games against David Pacman, very likely. He's very, very good.
He's good? Wait, what rating is he?
He's like 1,200.
He's 1,200?
Something like that.
I gotta just drag it out until he dies of old age. It's the only way. It's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine. Okay, so first of all, do you remember what you do after knight f3?
After knight f3?
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing like weird, like, yeah, not really.
This was the first lesson we did.
Yeah, so I can do, wait, this is like the Italian or whatever, right?
Yes.
No, I don't actually remember it from here.
All right, it's okay. I don't remember how to play Echo either. It's fair.
Okay.
Bishop c4.
Oh, yeah, and then I go this.
Okay, good, because we don't want to get fried livered, right? So, c3.
Okay, and then I would go.
It's okay. I still haven't managed to convince
This, right?
Yeah. Okay, this is fine. Honestly, I think you should just develop the knight. You should always like get your knight and bishop out first, and then castle, and then worry about playing d6.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Also, did you finish 4th a lot when you play competitive or something? Because this is one guy in my chat who won't stop bringing it up.
No, my team, one of the teams I played on was known for that, but I didn't play on the team when they got a bunch of 4ths. I played on the team when they got 2 4ths and 2 3rds.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But like there was a meme with the team I played on for Forever 4th, because I think in the 2 years before I played with them, it was Team Curse. But the 2 years before I played with them, they got 4th in like everything. So it was like 3 years of them getting 4th, and I joined for like the last year of them getting 4th, and then the next year we changed our org, and then we got 3rd.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it was like a big deal when we finally like broke the curse or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being on a team called Team Curse.
Yeah, it was like the 4th place curse. But I actually only finished 4th twice, which was like my lowest placing, and then everything besides for that in professional play, like the first team I played on was really good, which was Team Dignitas, and that was the team we got 2nd, and then we went to Worlds. So.
All right, you're about to get 4th a 3rd time.
Okay, nice. Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you kind of remember how to play this. All right, so going back to the game, d4, you should definitely be taking here because okay,
So I didn't know if this would be good because to me he's just gonna like take here, right?
All right.
Then he's just developed, right? And I'm sitting in spawn, and this dude's like just out there like middle of mid lane.
All right.
Wave's like already met. Like, he's just gonna like be CSing for free, you know?
But you can kick his queen out too.
Okay.
And then if he moves his queen somewhere, then you can just, you know, bring your pieces out.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you'll have like one less pawn in the center, but as long as you start bringing out your pieces immediately, like kicking his queen away, and then open up your bishop. So usually this bishop and then the knight and then castle. This will be fine for you.
Oh wait, my chat just reminded me. The team didn't actually get 4th. When I joined, they actually got 6th. So it was really like overplayed by the community. Actually, it was actually like a 4th and then a 6th and then like a 4th and then like a 3rd. What the community did is they kept on making waves. They're like, oh, but they finished like 4th in the regular season, or like they're like. There was like one time where it was like, oh, they're like the 4th team to finish 3rd, and like it was like so fucking weird. It was so weird.
Okay.
I just remembered it wasn't even. Yeah.
So they got even worse after you joined.
No. Before I joined, they were 6th, and then when I joined, I got them to 4th, and then I got them to 3rd, and then when I left, they got 6th and then 9th.
Okay, give me a second. Here, I'm pulling up your record since 2015. NA LCS 2015.
2015 was when we got 3rd. So like yeah, my career's been
oh,
like
I see.
5. Yeah. So season 5 plus we didn't get any 4ths. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You only got 2 4th in 2016.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got 6th in the season and got 3rd in playoffs.
Oh.
No, I was talking about 2013 summer. I don't know. It's fucking irrelevant. I just remember that was actually super triggering for me as a player because like they just like had this meme going that was so forced and it was just like not that like funny to me. I don't know.
Okay. Don't worry. We will stop reminding you that you got 4th once upon a time, and then remind you again after you get 4th this time.
It was so oh god, that was so crazy. I mean, the league community just tries to force memes. Like when a meme dies, they just keep on trying to like force it.
Yeah, you sound like you have a little bit of trauma.
Oh yeah, and then they won like 4 LCS splits in a row, and then people were like, forever 4th, or they're the 4th organization to win an LCS split. I don't know, whatever. It's fucking stupid. Continue with this.
All right, continue. All right, so someone's traumatized. It's okay. We got the point. Yeah, but you'll be fine if queen takes d4 happens. And what your opponent did. Okay, so knight c6, knight f3, e takes d4. Usually people play knight takes d4.
Okay, and then what would I do?
What do you think you should do?
I think I should go here, probably.
That's actually not a bad move. It's a good developing move. If your opponent plays bishop e3. You just have to be careful with this move because he actually has threats here.
So should I not bring the knight out? Because I would have moved knight to f6.
Yeah, knight to f6 is a bad move here because what can he play? Think about every single move you make. You gotta think about the captures, the threats, and the captures and the threats, basically. Captures and checks, sorry, and threats, right? On every single move.
Yeah, because he would take, like... Yeah, he would go this, then I would take, and then he would take, right?
Yeah, exactly. So on every single... So the best way to avoid getting checkmated or losing materials is just on every single move that you make, think about what your opponent could do. And every single move your opponent makes, think about what he's threatening to do.
Yeah, it's like I see the problem is that I just so should I do something like defend my bishop by moving like a pawn to like b something like b3, or should I like I'm not sure what I should do from that position.
All right, so this position is actually a little bit difficult to play. Something I think you could do. I mean, the theory, what you're supposed to do goes queen f6, but maybe that's a little too complicated. Instead, I would honestly probably, actually bishop c5 is fine. And if your opponent goes bishop e3, maybe you can play bishop b6 here. I feel like this is a pretty solid way to play.
Okay. I guess what I'm always afraid of is like when it feels like
thank you so much,
more
Andy.
developed than me.
Welcome back to third
I'm
one.
like,
Thank you.
Further on the board than me.
Yeah.
Playing too safe or something.
But that's okay. If you're playing too safe, then like it's better to play a little bit safer than to get checkmated on your third move.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I mean, the way you play these kind of position is always that if he plays knight c3, you play knight f6, and then you go for your castle. If he takes on c6, you just take with the d pawn. I mean, or the b pawn or the d pawn, both actually work here. These positions are a little bit more difficult to play. Like, you're fine. It's just a little bit more difficult to play because your opponent already has the center. So something else you can do is just d6 here. And, you know, just not let your opponent push e5 before you've gotten your knight out onto f6.
Okay.
Have a great night, mental health.
Don't play d5 until you got your knight out. That's what I did last time.
Yeah, no, you never want to play d5. You actually pretty much just never want to play d5 until you're already castled. Yeah.
Or even like d6, right?
A d6 is okay if you're not castled yet. You want to play, so if you don't have a pawn on e5, you want to play d6 and then knight f6 because otherwise he can chase your knight away.
Yeah, okay.
But you already have a pawn on e5. d6 is a bit of a redundant move because all it does is protect this pawn, right? Like for example, in this line. The only reason you would realistically play d6 is if this pawn was being threatened, but it's not right now, so you can use that move to develop a piece, which is a lot more important.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And when your opponent plays crazy openings,
what did he do? He put the pawn even further.
Yeah, so he played c3 here, right? He's just giving you free pawns. Okay, so you taking the free pawns is fine. It's like 100%, like all gambits, all free pawns in the opening are totally okay for you. You gotta keep this in mind because that's just the way chess is designed. There's no winning line for your opponent. But like you have to play this very, very carefully once you've gotten 2 pawns. Like he's not giving you 2 pawns for nothing. He's got crazy development, right? He's brought all of his pieces up.
So what should I be doing here as my next move? Like, what is actually the best move? Do I put my like? I don't even know. This looks so crazy to me.
Yeah, it is really crazy. So the way you have to play now is try to develop in a way that doesn't impact your other pieces, and also at the same time be keeping in mind what he's attacking.
So I don't know, like maybe something like
Have
that.
a great night, Cylin. Sorry, wait, what'd you play?
F6.
F6. Okay, you don't want to play F6. You never want to push the pawn. Okay, so remember how the first lesson I told you to never push G5? Okay, you never want to push F6 until you're at least castled and got your king on H8.
Why?
Because if you push F6, you're basically never going to be able to castle again. Because his bishop, if he has this like-square bishop, he's going to just sit there and not let your king land on G8, right? You can't castle into a check.
Yeah.
So this F6 move really, really impacts like your ability to castle.
What would I even do? Because like right now, so if I go, I mean I could go knight to F6, but I don't know if that's good.
I would honestly play bishop b4 check here.
Okay, and then he's just gonna push the pawn to.
What pawn?
A3.
But he's in check.
Oh wait, never mind. He can't. Okay.
Right. This is what you were worried about, right? That your opponent will be able to push the pawn up, but you're in check. So this is called developing with a tempo, and developing with a tempo is so good because you get a free move of development.
Okay, so he would go knight to D2 then.
Okay, knight to D2. What can you do now?
I mean, I could trade, but I don't know if that's good. That doesn't sound good to me. So.
You're right.
I mean, now can I move the knight out?
Yes, now you can move the knight out. This is perfect.
Yeah. Right.
And you can see how this has actually saved you a move, right? Like you're one step away from castling, which is super good. Now your only worry is if you place e5, which is to kick your knight away.
And I just take. Oh wait, no, I can't take. So. I guess I could go here, right?
Yeah, you can because this is a pin, and he's actually closed off his own bishop. So if he castles, what can you do?
I mean, here I guess I would take first.
Yeah, take first.
And I
Exactly. And you're up 2 pawns, so he still has a bit of an attack, which you have to be really careful about. But honestly, I don't think anybody in PogChamps is like strong enough to actually conduct a really strong attack. There's a lot of things to learn here, but the main takeaway is that if your opponent is just giving you, if your opponent is just giving you free pieces, you take it and then you find a way to develop your pieces and then castle as quickly as you can.
Okay.
And that's how you have to treat every single weird opening, because there's no way we're gonna be able to cover every single opening. We can only try to cover as much, like the general ideas. Have a great night, Atomic. Yeah. Yep. I mean, honestly, you're fine.
I need to practice. I gotta like actually start playing, because I haven't been playing like at all. I played maybe like 2 hours of chess between the last 2 lessons I've got. Like I've spent more time playing in this lesson than like the entire time I've.
That's okay. That's totally fine. I mean, you know, I guess at least you can 1v1 Blade.
Is he really that bad? Why do you keep on flaming Blade?
No, he's actually not that bad. He just insists on not listening to me.
What does that mean? Like he just like no.
He literally says no. I didn't know it was possible to not listen to someone, but I told him to not do something, kind of like with you. I think he just says no.
I kept on you know, telling you to use your W on Echo, and you never did it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. We never listen to our coaches. It's fine. I'm gonna be. Wait. One more thing about this position, because this is really funny. How did you not see checkmate here?
I don't know. He didn't see it either, right? Like no, I don't think anyone in my ELO sees that. Like no one can, yeah, because it's just like it's such like a closed off checkmate. That's like why I don't think that anyone would see it.
Okay, but on every single move, are you looking for checks and captures and threats?
So I'm looking at like threats and like checks and so right now, my main thing is I'm like, okay, my rook's under attack. Like I'm not even thinking that I could get checkmated in this position, because to me, like obviously if this knight was a pawn, or like if I hadn't moved my G pawn, then I would have had like easily ways to defend it. So yeah.
Right. So on every single move you play, you just want to look for checks, captures, and threats. Like just keep repeating this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you want to do is, oh my god, my owner just said Blade is Pepega. Blade is not that Pepega. He's actually winning his games.
Is he?
Yeah. He actually won a lot of games.
He told me it was like 700 rating.
He's 800 now.
Oh, okay. Shit, he's only 78 behind.
Yeah. He's doing pretty well.
Smurfing.
He is smurfing, and you just have to look for checks, captures, and threats every single time. You just want to repeat this. If your opponent can capture something, you're like, you gotta like not lose that piece, right? If your opponent's gonna checkmate you, you gotta not get checkmated.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that like no one's gonna think you can checkmate with only a knight in my ELO, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually called the smothered mate. Well, it's not really a smothered mate, but it's just like one of those mating ideas you have to know. And if it happens to you, now you learn.
The best thing I should have done is like just take with the knight.
Yeah, you should just take the knight. I mean, your position is fucked anyways, but at least you don't get checkmated on your on move 8.